Are you looking to hire an associate dentist to unlock more growth, more sanity, more free time with your family? Text hire to 215-798-9897 to get help from Dentist Job Connect. And if you're looking for the perfect job that's a fit for you, part-time, full-time, doing implants, crowns, endo, and more, text job to 215-798-9897 or reach out to us at dentistjobconnect.com. We would love to help you. If you are a newish dentist, a dental student, or someone looking to survive, thrive, and not cry in the real world of dentisting, we have made a survival guide specially for you. Text survive to 215-543-6454. And I am ready to bring up to the Dentist Job Connect TV stage my friend Annette. Annette, you can start your video when you are ready. We are going to talk about my first jobs. This is my friend Annette Woods. And Annette, what was your first job on earth?
Well, my very first job on earth was at the Dairy Queen, and it was serving ice cream. So that was pretty much just a fun job, and everybody loved me because I was giving them something they were happy about.
I love that. I love that. I always say, as many people know, I've doing multiple jobs, but I'm not really a believer in reincarnation, but I want to come back and sell those $10 cupcakes that people love. They walk in, they buy $100 worth of cupcakes. They don't complain. I try to do a filling for them. They complain. So my first job, it was a bus person. I learned a lot about customer service. It was like a truck stop diner. And that really taught you how to deal with people, how to manage people. But your second job, tell us about your second job.
Well, my first real job after graduating dental hygiene school, I was a hygienist in downtown Detroit in Blaine Clinic. So I had to learn my people skills very quickly. A lot of our patients, 30 years old, never been to the dentist. A lot of back then we called deep scaling and root planing.
Yeah.
So I really had to gain their trust and learn how to deal with people at very beginning of my career. And it was good, but it was difficult.
I think we have to just call what dentistry and hygiene is. It's not what people want. It is what they need, right? If my wife said to me, this weekend, we can spend $500. We can go to a fancy meal, or we can hire someone to organize our closets and clean out our basement. We need that, but we want that. And we should just honor our patients, but also we all have to do needs and wants. And that brings me to my topic of the day. The title of this is How Leaky is Your Practice Bucket? Are you leaking profits? So tell our audience, Dentist Job Connect, you're an amazing Dental Nacho sponsor. What do you do to help dentists survive, thrive, and not cry?
Well, that is growing and it is ever changing as we find more of the needs of the dentist, but we help them with a lot of their pain points. Part of what we do is compliance, and that's the boring part, cleaning the basement, and nobody likes paying for that.
What's compliance mean for us dentists who might not know what that means?
Well, it's having your books in order and accurate so that you can do your taxes properly. If you ever get audited, everything is in place. So these are kind of the boring things. You have to have all that information in there. But we like to make it more exciting and maybe help you with some of your pain points, help you become more of a growing, prosperous, successful practice. Find out what your goals are, and we can help you in that area, because today's 21st century bookkeeper is just not someone that does compliance. It's someone that can show you. We can do a deep dive and analysis into your books. We can customize your chart of accounts to your business and help you see what's going on. We can look at your history then and see what's happening and what we can do to change it to make you more prosperous or to hit certain goals. Maybe your pain point is you want to take more time off. So let's see what we can do to help you with your business, to help you do that, or maybe spend less time doing the books.
I absolutely love that. And also, the people who help you handle money, they're the ones who you go to them for tough love, right? Because do I have enough money to do this? And, is it make sense to this? I want to talk about this topic. So you work with dentists of all ages and stages. But in 2011, I was part of a dental practice with my dad, and my brother had just joined us, and we decided to buy another practice. And 12 years later, if you said to me, Dr. Nacho, was that a good idea? You know what I have to say to you? I don't know. I've run it for 12 years. there's been a lot of great things. We've helped a lot of patients. I've given team members livelihoods. There's also been a lot of stress trying to manage a second location, trying to make sure you have enough team members for a second location. And then how has it impacted my profitability? I'm also not so sure, right? So tell us about your clients that want to buy a second, third, fourth location. Do they come to you first? What are some of their reasons why? What are some watch out reasons for people who might want to own more than one dental practice?
Well, first of all, you want to have your financials in order so you can see what's going on. And a lot of it, you will have to have goals. What's it going to take to buy this second practice? What do I want out of this? What is success to me? Are you going to be running it yourself? So we can do those things. We can create targets and forecasts and look at your cash flow drivers to make sure you have a good, healthy practice to start out with. And then, okay, now we've got that. Let's move to the next level. And when you buy this practice, let's start out the same way.
Right.
So it's not a headache, and that you have your books in order and you can make those correct decisions, hit those targets, do those forecasts, and see what cash drivers are holding you back. That's all part of it. And if you don't have your books done correctly, then you're going to be spending a lot of time doing things and running in circles, making a lot of mistakes. And so I think having that second, third practice, whatever you want, it's all about the same thing with the first practice, having everything in order.
Yeah, I know I got to connect you with my friend, Dr. Mark Casas. If your flagship practice is not right, your second one's not going to be right either. He owned 9 practices, and people do things by the seat of their pants. And it doesn't mean that they're bad business people. It just means that it's very easy to get ahead of yourself with enthusiasm of owning multiple businesses and forget about someone like you who needs the help with financials. My next question in this world is dental practice owners that have worked with you and come to you, what's the pain they come to? People come to us with a chipped tooth. They don't like their smile for their daughter's wedding. They only give us 1 week too. I don't know why people come. So they know the wedding's happening. They're afraid to smile. They can't chew in the back. What are some of the pain points when people go through and reach out to you? Bookkeeping Aesthetics, amazing sponsor of what we do. What are some of the pain points they're coming with? They're not making enough money. They're confused. They can't pay their team. Tell us about that.
Well, not making enough money and being confused is a big one. I have many that don't ever get financial reports. No one ever explains what these financial reports mean. They look at the profit and loss and it says they made a profit, but it's not in their bank, and they don't understand. Or they don't understand why these numbers don't match their practice management software. So we can help with that confusion. We go over the reports every month, help the dentist understand what their practice is doing. It's not just a list of expenses, it's put in categories so you can see, hey, this is what this building is costing us. This is what the front office is costing us. This is what our hygiene department is costing us. So you can have the big picture of what's going on. And those are very similar pain points. But we also have dentists that come to us and, hey, we want to sell to DSO, but the bank told us our books were a mess. And really, you need a good 3 years of good financials for a DSO to look at it. It needs to be an accrual, which a lot of dentists are doing it in cash. And you want to have that in order so you
Stop
can get
us
the
there
best
for one.
price.
I want to interject with 2 things. First, my job, Hakeem, please make a poll. Are your practice books a mess, meticulous, or somewhere in between? A mess, meticulous, or somewhere in between? Let's connect you to a sponsor. Cash versus accrual. Explain movie Philadelphia. Explain it to me like I'm a 6-year-old. I own Dr. Nacho's taco stand. What's the difference between cash and accrual for that taco stand? Nacho stand. I want to own a nacho stand.
Cash is just recording things when they happen. So when you pay a bill, when you get money, you record it then. But accrual is putting it into a story when it happens. So how I like to explain it to dentists, let's say you have digital x-rays and you take them and everything's on the computer in order, the date when things happen. Now I come back from a time before digital x-rays where we had the films and we used to stuff them in coin envelopes and then stuff them in the chart. So then you take that and you dump it out on the desk and you're going to see what is happening with that patient. What would you rather look at? So accrual is more like the digital x-rays. So we're going to match.
I love that example. You explained it in a very dentist way. And I think that's really key. I mean, my team, please put what would be the right question? Are your books and taxes filed cash or accrual? Is it one? Can you do your books cash and accounting accrual, or is it consistent both ways, ideally?
Well, your taxes are always done on a cash basis unless you make over 5 million.
Gotcha.
But your books should be done on accrual if you want to see the health of your business. And
So it
it's
would be, are you
very,
keeping your books? Is your bookkeeping being done cash or accrual? That is
it's,
the
yes,
black and white, up
it
and
should be
down
done
thing.
in accrual because your accountant or your CPA, it's a very easy transformation to do it for cash for your taxes. And a good one will have no problem with that. Even in QBO, you can pull up a report cash basis or accrual basis. But if you really want to know what's going on, you need to have it in accrual. And yes, it does take a little bit more work, but if you want to be more successful, that's what you need to be doing.
Like that, we're learning a lot here. Just a couple more things before we wrap up. So as a dentist, and you're a hygienist, the endodontist does the root canals, right? And in general, they don't care about your smile. They just don't, but they notice it. So if I send a patient to the endodontist who just had veneers done, and they say, look at my veneers, the endodontist says, oh, those are nice veneers, and does the root canal, right? So you deal with finances, books, right? But you also have context of what happens to your clients, right? Did their office manager quit? Is their team acting up? This is just an open-ended question. Dentists that work with associates versus one that don't, what are some of the themes you see? Is one happier? When you look at their books, do you see, man, some of these associates are making good livings? I'm trying to bond dentists together with Dentist Job Connect. So give us any sort of Annette feedback on your clients and associates.
Well, what I find with my clients that do have associates, they have more time to work with me and know what's going on in their business instead of trying to do, work crazy in their business and on patients. And they're able to make a better atmosphere for everyone. And I see the associates doing quite well.
Yeah, and I think that's such a magical thing you say is when you're a practice owner and you have an associate, you have time to work on the business instead of in the business, right out of the E-Myth Revisited. And, many dentists don't want more money. They want more time, but they can't figure out how to get more time. I mean, I have a close personal friend who is in the top 0.5% of GP owners, okay? Over $750,000 a year. He would gladly make 500. He just doesn't know how. It's either him doing the 750 or not. So in court, and he has one part-time associate, I'm helping him get another one. So I think that's such a golden nacho tip. You have the time to work on your business instead of in your business. And then also, as someone who does Job Connect, if you're the only person who can dentistry in your business, and that your business is vulnerable to injury by you, for your family, it's vulnerable, and sadly, by sudden death, right? I mean, as we kind of wrap up, have you dealt with traumatic and tragic stories of a dentist dying and not having their books in order and the practice not being worth what it was supposed to be worth?
I have instances where the dentists are so busy working that they don't have time to work with me. I haven't had anyone have a tragedy like that, but I've had that tragedy personally myself, where my husband passed away 8 years ago, and a lot of things weren't in order. So I can definitely thank you. I can definitely understand the need. And, I have one dentist, she's working like crazy and she might bring in $500,000 a month in collections, but she has no time to do anything else. She wants to write a book. She wants to do other things, but she's so busy running around. So I've definitely been trying to talk to her.
I'll share. I'm sorry to hear about your husband. I dealt with both of my parents dying suddenly, but when my dad died suddenly when I was 38, I'll share. He had everything in order, and it was I had to spend a year of my life trying to get things done, even when it wasn't ordered. So when I want to inspire practice owners, especially if you're a solo GP, work with someone like Annette. So you do not, in the most devastating thing that can happen to your family, do not make it even more devastating by not giving them the tools they need to deal with your practice. Because you know what, Annette, if you own a house, if my dad owned a beach house and I had to sell that beach house, it just sits there, right? People don't live in it. But when you own a dental practice, you got a team, you got patients, the practice value decreases dramatically every day a dentist is not in there. And we don't have to talk it as tragic and morbid as death, it's just gonna be an injury. People get injured. They injure their
Yes.
shoulder and they can't practice for 12 weeks. And even though they can talk to their team and even though they can be there, if they don't have a dentist producing dentistry, I know you've seen numbers where the decline is dramatic. Is that something that you would agree with?
Oh, definitely. And that's something we talk to the dentists about. You know, we talk about having 3 to 6 months worth of expenses in your bank account that you could pay if revenue suddenly stopped coming in. And I've worked for a dentist where he hurt his hands and he couldn't work for 2 months. No money was coming in. So you have to be prepared for those. And those are all the discussions you should be having with your financial professional and being set up for what happens if you can't work. Now, if you have associates, of course, that's a different story, but you still need someone to run the
I mean,
business.
associates keep you going. I mean, I'll share, these aren't the exact numbers, right? But if I couldn't bring in money from my family and I had a disability policy that paid my family $12,000 a month, that would not necessarily keep our same lifestyle, but we wouldn't be out on the streets and we would be able to pay our expenses. You know what my 2 practices are, as you know? It's 10 times that amount. It's $120,000 a month. So if someone couldn't do dentistry, there's no magical disability policy. You should get business overhead insurance, but that's why you've really driven home this point of whether you're a solo practice owner or multi-practice owner, get your books in order, especially with you, Annette. How can someone reach out to you to get, I saw your leaky bucket thing that you did for nachos. What can people, if someone's listening right now and says, this sounds like me, I don't have this in order, I got to get better, how can they reach out to you?
Well, I always take phone calls. Most of the time it's me answering the phone at 904-655 422-6500, 904-422-6500, or just go to bookkeepingaesthetics.com and schedule a free consultation with me.
Well, you've shared so much value. Nacho and Job Connect team, let's please make some follow-up so we can get this information, the links out to Annette. Thanks so much for being our awesome sponsor and friend, Annette. Stick around for a minute, but Dental Nachos, Dentist Job Connect crew will see you later.
Thank you.